welcome to week 2 of Happy, Lean, and Serene. And this is a really fun week. So last week was maybe a little bit more serious. We were talking about releasing and forgiving, and this week is really fun. It's really creative. So we're talking about creating a vision board and how to do that. What the heck is a vision board, in case you don't know what it is? And I actually have one right behind me, so I'm actually going to grab that and I'm just going to show you quickly a little bit my board and the process that I went to, because this is like not the first iteration. I've been doing vision boards for years and years and years, and I found them extremely useful to reaching my goals, whether it was a very huge career goal, personal life goal, and even something as light and simple as how I wanted my home to look. Like I had a million different boards for like interior design and decoration, and it's crazy how when you create a vision board like that for yourself, it plants a seed in your head, and then when you're going about your day and making decisions, those images, those visuals, that vision, it sticks with you and it actually really influences you and the decisions you make. So from a decoration point of view, I would have all these boards with these different pictures of different things, like a velvet gray couch, and then I noticed that like a year later, or not even, the couch that I picked was velvet and gray. so obviously that's very like basic, but I noticed in other areas of my life as well, where I picked a picture, I put it on the board, and it's something that maybe seemed completely unrealistic or like unattainable, and it happened eventually. So it's pretty magical. So I'm going to scooch just a little bit closer to the camera here, and I'm not going to go into detail with every single image, but I do want to mention one thing. So a vision board, it doesn't necessarily have to be about a particular goal, which might sound really weird. It might sound like I'm contradicting what I just said, but sometimes a vision board, it can be a reminder of who you are and what's really important to you. So as an example of this is going to be tricky because, so yeah, okay. So for example, this picture is of a supermodel, and she's wearing a dog. She's wearing a dog and a t-shirt that says "Save them all," and it was an article, I think it was in Vogue magazine, and it was talking about how it was really important for her to support different animal causes, like rescues or anything that really had to do with kind of the well-being of animals. And if you know me, you know obviously I'm a huge animal lover, and that is something that is really important to me as well. So it's not a particular goal per se that I have for this photo, it's just it kind of resonated with me. And once again, our lives can get so busy and so full, and we can kind of be pulled in a million different directions, where sometimes we just need a little reminder of, it's almost kind of like a mirror, where when I look at that, I'm reminded of what matters to me, and that can help us focus, I find, and maybe streamline our life a little bit more to cut out what's not as important. Because if you're lucky, I mean, your life is really full, and women today, you know, we have so many options, but sometimes like you can really have kind of information and decision overload, and you kind of don't know what direction to go in anymore. So I find having a vision board, yes, it's great for goals, but it's also really good as a kind of a connection to my soul and really who I am and what matters most. So if we go into a bit more detail here, this is going to be tricky. My arm's going to be so sore at the end of this video. So I have an image here on the bottom, a girl wearing kind of a pink top, and it's written "Endless Traveler," and she's on a beach. So I don't think I need to go into too much detail or explanation about what that is. Obviously, I'm a huge travel lover. That is something that is really important to me. I try to set up my life as much as possible so that I can travel. A few years ago, that meant freelancing, starting my own business so that I could work from anywhere, which allowed me a lot of freedom. And then as times evolved, that changed. However, you know, now I'm in a career where the abundance in my life, the financial abundance in my life, does allow me to go to really beautiful destinations. So a visual can mean one thing, but then there can also be different interpretations and different ways to reach that goal, if you will. Another thing that I know it keeps coming up, this is actually very apparent in this board, is there's a lot of images of career women, a lot. And there's a mix of like very kind of corporate, more serious, but very like strong women. And then there's really also the artistic side as well. So I love, you know, looking at strong women, glamorous women. But I also, there's a side of me that always wants to remember kind of the creative side, the kind of hippie, the hippie in me side that I don't want to forget, where I don't want to take things too seriously. I don't want to be just focused like on the material stuff, on just be like super ambitious and like kind of like not have a soul. So I think maybe this mix represents that balance that I'm always striving for. And in the bottom right here, is Lisa Messenger, and she is a woman that I find extremely inspiring. She's a woman that created an amazing magazine called The Collective. She's an author of multiple books. She's a public speaker, and there's just something about her in particular that really resonates with me. And that's a little trick that I'm going to give you. I'm just going to put this down for 1 second. That's one trick that I'm going to give you, is that when you create a vision board, anytime that you're like digging through a magazine and you see an image that somehow compels you, don't try to figure out why, because I kind of wish that I had kept all my vision boards over the years. But one of the first ones that I made and I kept for a really long time, there was a woman and doing a handstand in front of this beautiful mansion. It looked like she was like somewhere in Miami, and she was really strong and physical, like great shape. She was beautiful home. And this is years before I did my yoga teacher training. I'm assuming at that time I probably was doing yoga, but just not in a really dedicated or serious way. But for some reason that image really spoke to me, and I took it out and I had it on my vision board for a really long time. And then finally, years later, I did my yoga teacher training, and all of a sudden it was kind of clear what that represented. It represented, at the time for me, it was just like a woman in front of a beautiful home that was successful. So it was kind of more superficial, and there's nothing wrong with that. But over the years, basically, I guess it was something that was kind of maybe a bit dormant inside of me, and then it came out. So when you do the process of creating a board for yourself, it's really important to not be judgmental and to kind of get out of your head, which can be hard to do sometimes because that little hamster in the wheel is always working. But try to take the kind of analytical, critical voice out, just kind of ignore it. And just work from an intuitive way, and really just kind of pulling images that resonate with you. Also, I do want to mention that I will be leading an event with 2 other amazing women on January 19th here in the Eastern Townships in Sherbrooke. And it's all about how to create a vision board for yourself. So I think this is perfect timing. So 2019, happy, lean, and serene. For me, a vision board is a key tool in that, and it's a fun tool. Seriously, I find that it really allows you to get out of your head and to visualize, to put kind of concretely what are you striving for, and not just what you're striving for, but who are you and who can you become. So I'm gonna leave the link below to that event for you if ever you're interested. I know that many of you watch, you're kind of from all around the world, you're not necessarily locals. But anyways, if you are in the area, or maybe if you're in Montreal and you want to have a little road trip to the Eastern Townships, we would love to have you. I think it's going to be a really fun activity, and there's also going to be a yoga class as well. There's going to be snacks, and I think it's just going to be really fun. And I think it's the first of probably many events like that throughout the year. Okay, I had to put that board back because my arm was getting sore. So the first time that I ever did a vision board for myself was years and years ago, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it was following an Oprah episode that I had watched, and what she suggested, and everybody has a different process, but what she had suggested is take, let's say, like 5 kind of brown envelopes, they can be white, but whatever, kind of a large envelope, and then take a bunch of magazines, and then just go through the magazines and just tear out different images that that somehow resonate with you. And your envelopes, as I said, maybe I think it was around 5. One can be your love life, so visions and images and goals and dreams for your love life. One can be your financial life, one can be your career, and one can be your health. So it can be also like your body, it can be all sorts of different things. You might want to have 8 envelopes depending on the categories you want to create for yourself. But I found that really fun. So this board is not necessarily in categories like that. I did that for a while with the envelopes and all that, and now I just do it more kind of in a, just like a, like organic matter where there's just different pictures, whatever just compels me, I'll put it on the board. So I thought that was a fun way of doing it. And I find also that it's really, really important to know that your board is going to evolve over time. So I do have actually a book, like it's kind of like a notepad, but it's quite a big notepad. And I did also, at the beginning, I would stick like one picture. So let's say it was like something from a magazine, it was 8.5 by 11, and I would stick that on, and then I would flip to the other and I would stick another one like that. So I changed that to a pin board over the years, because that I just tended to just put it on my desk and I could only see one picture at a time. So that's why I like the board like that, where I can put multiple photos. But I still have that kind of large notepad, and there's a few images that maybe don't resonate as much anymore, some not at all, and that's totally fine. Like, we evolve as human beings, and it's normal that our vision board will evolve with us as well. So if there's something that you choose now, you put now on your board, maybe in a month from now, in a year, in 10 years from now, it might not resonate, and that's totally fine. You really have to put aside your kind of rational, critical, analytical mind and just really connect with your intuition and honor if whatever compels you and resonates with you, if it evolves over time. It's normal that it evolves. I'd be more concerned if it didn't change. So it just shows that you're growing and you're morphing into another, version of yourself. So that's totally fine. So really, really always remember in this process, one of the most important things is really taking that judgmental voice out of it and not trying to question it too much. You might put a photo there that for the longest time, you might not know what it means. And it can be something also, it could be something that's symbolic. I remember one of the photos I had was a woman with a little boy walking towards a beach barefooted, and I've never been compelled to have kids, and I was kind of wondering, why is it a picture with like a little boy? And it turns out like it wasn't the boy, it was a woman with a little boy, and it had a very like bohemian feel. And for me, what it represented, it was freedom. They were, barefooted on the beach. It was an article about, I think it was an interior designer that had a home somewhere, I don't know, Barbados or some beautiful place. And it was more that kind of lifestyle, that kind of carefree lifestyle that they had that really resonated with me. So do it in a very open, kind of free-flowing way. Have fun with it. You can even have a few boards if you want. You can buy, if you want, like a pin board like that for yourself. You can just buy, if you want, just like a big piece of cardboard. Whatever you want. You can put something on your fridge. I have even my phone here. I have screenshots, or even actually here. I have a picture that represents something that I'm striving for. That's a bit of a goal, and it's a bit symbolic. It's not something super specific, but it's something that represents kind of the life that I want to create for myself. So it's nice if you create a board like that for yourself. It's nice if it's somewhere where you can see it every day, ideally, if you can. That's why I have it right here in my bedroom. Obviously, every morning, every night, when I'm in here, I see it. And so I think it kind of leaves an imprint in your subconscious, and then it really influences what you do throughout your day. So all the little actions that we take and the decisions that we make, they add up to the life that we have. So when you have a board like that, you're putting a vision and you're living in a much more conscious way, where you kind of set an intention for yourself and you say, okay, this is what I'm kind of aiming for. And you try to kind of stay on that track while being open, by being flexible. You don't want to be too rigid, but it gives you a certain direction, which I really, really like, rather than just kind of like letting life kind of drag you around. And sometimes that happens and it's totally fine and all that, but it's nice feeling where there's something in your subconscious, something kind of in your soul that's guiding. It's like that internal GPS that's really guiding your decisions and your daily actions. So I really, really like that. So How does that relate to being happy, lean, and serene? Well, once again, I think that it's all about living in a conscious way. So if you know what matters to you, so as I said, the board can be goals, dreams, but it can also be who I am or the potential that I think I have. And I think a board like that can really allow you to maybe release what's not serving you, to leave room for what you do want to attract. That could be something, one of the pictures that's on the board like that. So for me, a vision board, it really, really does help guide me in the decisions that bring me closer to happiness. And if it's, once again, if you're focusing more on being lean, and I talked about in the previous week, lean is not just physical, it actually starts with the psychological, the spiritual. So I think, once again, that a board like that really helps guide you, helps you release what doesn't align with what's important to you. And when you start creating a board like that, you really start reconnecting or connecting with yourself for the first time and really seeing who am I as a person, what are really my key my core values, and then letting that direct your life. So I do believe strongly in that. That's why we're organizing this event. I believe it's a kind of a key tool and the foundation to being happy in life. So I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to either write a comment below, or if you have anything specific, if you're trying to do something and maybe you're feeling stuck or you're not sure, you're confused, you can always email me at info@redfairyproject.com. I will be happy to answer your questions. If you are in the Eastern Township area, or even maybe the Montreal area, or maybe you're in Quebec City and you want to do a road trip towards the Eastern Townships, it would be amazing to meet you. I love meeting you guys in person. It's not something I get to do very often. I hope I will be able to do it more in 2019. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. It's one of the things that makes me the happiest, to really connect one-on-one with you guys. So wishing you an amazing week. Have fun with that vision board. Start tearing out pictures. Get those magazines out, dust them off. Lord knows that we don't buy them as much as we used to, unfortunately, and just have fun with it and let me know how it goes. And if you do create a board for yourself, I would love you guys to take a picture of it and tag at Red Fairy Project so that I can see them. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, you know I'm there on a daily basis, multiple times a day. I would love to see your vision board. So have an amazing week, and I will see you very soon. Love you. Bye.